What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today, and we are back for a bit more AOR Oceania F2 action on the Xbox One. Here's a reminder of the championship standings if you haven't familiarized yourself with round one, and if you haven't seen round one, go check it out. But you see there, we won fairly comfortably in the end. Like I said in the first round, I was a little bit worried about what Zombie would do with his pace, but yeah, very lucky to come away with the first win of Season 2. But, I mean, China, I wasn't exactly too thrilled about coming to China. If you saw some of my Aussie Sim racing video the last time I raced here in China, I did survive the first two corners. So you could tell I was really looking forward to this. You can see there, Kaya was actually made a horrible mistake coming into turn 2. I don't think he really affected my lap, and the other Toro Rosso that was wide earlier on was his teammate Captain Farah. Yeah, but I decided to continue on anyway. I'm not really sure. Possibly it was a Red Bull, I'm not sure, but went purple in sector 2, but just look at the understeer I got out of turn 12, and so it sort of cost me my lap time a little bit. Sort of warmed up the tyres a little bit more, backed off a little bit, but you can see there I did a 33.7, which put me in P2 for the time being. Laggy is back for this week as well, but we also had a few new ones sign up for this round as well, with a few former foes, let's just say. But Sector 1 looked pretty good, went purple, fully purple in Sector 1. Went purple in Sector 2, it's another Red Bull just getting out of our road, but they had a much better run coming out of turn 12. So we only had, what do we have, like 13 or 14 runners? Might have been 13 actually, so we've added a couple more since the last round. We've had, what do we have, Frizy is another one, as we sent provisional pole to 33.4, I think, or 33.3. One of the two there, but you'll be able to see there's a yellow flag just as we finish off the lap. That's actually D2, who's actually retired from this session. I think he's only done the one run on soft tyres, but yeah, I'm just trying to work out who the rest of them are. But oh yeah, there's the Sly 666 is another one, and I've lost the track of who the other one is, but it'll come to me in the end. But yeah, just doing what I normally do, just take out the fuel, put on another set of super soft tyres, and we should be right to go. But yeah, have a look at the timings. Like I said, went fast to Sector 1, but it didn't quite have the other sectors. You can see there, I think Matt, who's up in P3 at the moment, put Sector 3 in purple, but you can see my teammate way down the order. I think he got affected by... It was either affected by traffic or he got the corner cut. But you can see there, just going past there. I let him through because I knew he was on a hot lap there. But Skywars gets out of the road. Oh, gee, there's a big crash in the background there. Looked like one of the Mercedes cars, but you just see how much, just trying to find as much room as I can to get my final run in. Try and nail this last corner. As you can see there, my teammate now goes provisional pole for the time being, but I'm trying to beat that as well. But there's just more chaos. There's more yellows than Sector 2. There's more people retiring. I think some of them may be retiring because they crashed, and most of them retiring because they can't go any quicker, or they've done their laps anyway. But yeah, coming through Sector 1 now. To hit turn 6, and we go purple again in Sector 1, so lap was looking okay for the time being. You see coming through the section, just ran a little bit wide, missed that apex a lot out of 9 and 10, and trying to keep the momentum going here. Up into 11 we go. Went purple again, didn't have the fastest time, but was going way quicker than my original time with that 33.4, but I knew I was starting on a bit of a fresher set of rubber, because if I started on the other set, I probably would have come in a little bit earlier pit stop wise, but coming around the final corner, was probably a little bit cautious through there, but So now we go up into P2 for the time being. 33.1, I think it was. I think my teammate did set another fastest time there, but you could just see on his second run here, he actually got affected by traffic. That's Luxury Lizard there in the Mercedes. So that didn't help his run, but let's just see what happens here. So I did say the Mercedes was involved. That's Luxury Lizard. Oh dear, he got a tap from, I think, one of the Red Bull guys. Possibly it was Michi, and there is a reason, I think, why this happened, as you'll be able to see on Michi's POV. He was actually on a hot lap here and just did not side him whatsoever. I think he just apologised in the end, but this was the other crash. So Captain Farrow, this was not the start. That wasn't the start of it. He just ran a little bit wide, but Matt just trying to find a bit of room there. Oh Jesus Christ! Look at all this. There's three of them. I think Exodona and the Force India. I think. Yeah, the other one was Spagbol. That was the other one I was trying to think of. So that was the three. So there's Exodona. Just well, that was Zombie. Just managing to get through there. I don't think Zombie's on a hot lap, but prove me wrong. They're going side by side here, coming out of turn 12 here. But oh dear me, just inside of there, Exodona. I mean, can't really do nothing there. But now let's see what actually happened here. This may tell us more. On board we go with Spagbol. Ran a little bit wide here. My former teammate from last season. You can see there, just I think he's just pulled out after the side there. That was Captain. Oh, that might explain it. So Captain Farrow's just slammed into the rear there. I think that was accidental anyway. So it's cost Spagbol and Exodona the qualifying. Just look at all this chaos. Just everything's going everywhere. Tyres are falling off. But this is the one we want to see here. I'm just going to leave you with this lap on board with Zombie Hunter. Enjoy. You could just tell the lap was perfect, couldn't you? And that gave Zombie his first pole for Season 2 of AOR. Now you see my teammate Owens and myself up in there, P2 and P3. Now both Michi and Captain Farah did cop 5 place grid penalties during those incidents, so it won't affect Captain Farah. He'll just drop a couple of spots. But for Michi, he'll drop in way down the grid anyway. But it's time to go racing here at the Chinese Grand Prix. Welcome back to the grid. As you can see here, it is fine as it was just perfect for the race here. And as you can see, they're just going through the strategy. It was only going to plan for the one stop anyway, but I am coming in on lap 8 because my teammate, we did discuss this, where he was coming in on lap 9, but we're all set for round 2 of AOR. F2, 5 red lights. let's do it around Shanghai, and it's actually a pretty good start compared to my teammate. Zombie had a fairly okay-ish start as well, but just going to go into turn 1, holding it right around the outside here. This was critical for me if I wanted to take the battle to Zombie as well, but I wanted Owens to hopefully hang behind me, but we get the spot. Up we go into P2. And up into turn 4 there, a big lock up there, but yeah, it seemed an okay start, I must admit. Now we're just going to try and chase after Zombie. It's just basically a reversal of the positions it was in Australia for the current moment, but you just tell I am running probably a little bit of a different setup compared to Zombie, as you can see there. Probably a bit more stable coming through those corners there. I wanted to have a bit more stability, but you can just see already I'm setting purple sectors, whether that's a good thing or not. Zombie ran a little bit wide coming out of that corner. It's a little bit slidey coming out of 11, but to the back straight we go, and yeah, now beginning lap 2, we're starting to gain a little bit more now on Zombie. You just see here, there's a bit of a lock up there. Didn't really help my run. Probably that dirty air cost me a bit, but yeah, just coming through back to 11 again. Probably have a little bit of I have a perfect run actually. You see Zombie just ran very, very wide actually coming out of that corner, but didn't really affect his run. I was totally committed anyway to try and get this move done. There's a lot more movement and going on in the background, but now into lap 3 we go. Set a purple sector 1 time, which showed I had good pace compared to Zombie anyway, but you're just coming out of 11 again. Look at Zombie, he's really struggling out of that corner. We have a much better run than him coming out of this at a turn 12. Now we'll run up onto the back of him, and it is the perfect time to get a bit of DRS and knock into rich mix. Hopefully have a bit more straight line speed than Zombie. Gonna have to be a real late dive bomb up the inside we go. Lock up both brakes, give him enough room, trying to get a bit of drive out of there, but there we go. We take the race lead back. Well, we get the race lead for the first time actually, but now it's just the time to try and push on and see how much of a gap we can go, and as you see they're setting the fastest lap as well, so it was a good double measure there. Now let's have a look at the replays from the start. This is on board with Captain Farah. Wasn't the greatest of starts, but it looks at things by Exodona there, but you can see he's going to come right up the inside of Frizy. He's already damaged his front wing, so that's not the greatest of starts, as that looked like one of the Mercs going wide there. I think that was Luxury Lizard. I should also point out that WF1 Ricardo was not here this weekend, so that dropped it down a little bit numbers-wise. But we still had a good grid as R8's having a look up the inside of Conrad. Captain's looking up the inside of Kiowas. Not sure he's got quite enough into turn 7. She runs very, very wide. Probably that front wing is really affecting him there, and that was an easy spot for Exodona. And let's see what he can do coming back up into turn 9. There's a bit more contact, and around he goes. And that pretty much just finished off his front wing. So at the back of the pack, it can happen. And what I was going to say was there were a couple of guys that they did come in early. So I think the Luxury Lizard is one. I think is that Matt is another. So there were 3 guys that had to pit for damage. As you can see there, Captain's getting a new front wing and onto the medium tyres, and away he goes. Could possibly take them to the end, but it'd be a big risk. But let's have a look on board with Frizy. Now let's see whether he actually gets a tag up the rear here. Probably hard to tell there, but didn't look like it anyway. But you can see there, just trying to go around it. Look like one of the Ferraris there, but that's actually a bit of lag, and there's Spag Bowl up the inside. And he's on board with Owens. Didn't quite have the best start. We actually made contact there. I did not realise this until I watched his footage later on, but You just see trying to hold on to the outside. He's holding on to the inside line, so he wants to hold on to this outside. Now we switch around, he goes to the outside, and we get the spot done anyway. So yeah, fairly simple move there. And I really thought Holmes was going to have a look up the inside here, but I went a little bit too deep into that corner there. But now back in the pack we go to DJRT P17, Penske in P10, I think he was for qualifying. So, well, I think it was actually P11, but thanks to Mitchie's 5-place grid penalty to put him up to T10. But you can see there, made a few spots there already up the inside of, I think that's DT. You see that there's Laggy and the Sly, who's got some good pace already so far. It's only his first race for the season. So they're going side by side through this section. That Zombie crashed in to the 150 and 100 metre boards on in SRL. But see what the traction they got. Look at DT's traction. Plenty of traction in that Red Bull. What is going on? But let's see how good it was on DT's point of view. Going very deep there, right up the back of that Laggy person. Just look at that traction he's got in that Red Bull. I think Penske would have been very surprised with that amount of traction out of that corner. But here's R8K's view. You see that's I think Ikaya was. Matt actually got out of the way again. I think his lag was affecting him again. So you can see there he lost a few spots at R8K. Actually caught probably a little bit of a tag. Now he's going to have a look here at the Conrod straight. Probably have a little crack at him, I reckon, up at turn 6. See, he gets good drive coming out of that corner. Now let's see what he can do while all this stuff was going on. Goes up the inside of Conrod and should make it stick, hopefully, if Conrod doesn't have good drive. But Conrod does have good drive, actually, so let's not help R8K's point. Now back we go again onto the back straight. That's actually a move going on between Conrod and I think that's Mitchie, who's actually made up a few spots already. I hope it's Mitchie. I can't even see in this preview screen, but here's the replay from Spagbowl. Got a little punted there from Exodona. There's a lot of lag, as you can see there. I'm not sure exactly where this is all coming from. It's just all the crappy internets around Australia and well, hopefully not New Zealand and like Malaysia and all that, but you can just tell how bad it is. So you can see now dives up the inside of Luxury Lizard and yeah, gets that move done. Now on board we go with Matt, who actually had a nice ghosting car of a Frizy and thought he was up the inside of Luxury Lizard, but turns out he's up further up the road. But now you can see up into turn 6 is Bag going up the inside. Mate, it's pretty simple. Let's see what Matt can do out of this turn 7-8, and actually Luxury's Lizard's lagging so bad. Let's look at how bad it is. And then they actually made contact. Oh no! And the Lizard actually goes round, so that might explain why he had to come in as well. So it's all happening here. That was an interesting move up his side with both the teammates, but he's on board with Mitchie, who started 13th after his 5-place grid penalty, so it really dropped him back. So you see the amount of positions he's making up already up the inside of R8K and Conrod. Thought about it on Mitchie, but sorry, not Mitchie, Penske, I should say. Apologies, Mitchie, but we're on board with your car. But you can see there, that's actually ignore the graphic. It says Luxury Lizard. It's actually DT. For some unknown reason, it's got a weird, crappy one, but on Mitchie's screen. But Mitchie gave it a little look up the inside of a Penske, but just didn't quite have enough. Let's see what we can do through the fast left and right-hander. Might actually have a look around the outside, will he? No, holds off for the time being, but Penske doesn't quite get it into the apex. Turn 11 may be the spot here for Mitchie, as Penske runs defensive here, and Mitchie's going to have to go around right the outside here, but doesn't quite have enough in the end. I think Penske may hold on for the time being, but just look at the dirty air that Mitchie's getting. He's doing what Jetson did in SRL, big time, and you can just tell that he's under attacking from Conrod straight. So it was Mitchie that we were seeing from R8K's POV, but see Conrad put it down the inside there, but yeah, Mitchie held on for the time being, and bloody lucky not to make it even worse, but he's back on board. We go with DT, and he actually runs very wide here coming out of the turn 6, so that's not the greatest of runs. That's given Penske the motivation here. Through to turn 7 on board we go with Penske. It's going to have big balls going around the outside here for Penske, but your DT just misses his apex there. See what Penske can do. Just look at the drive that DT's got, but later on in the lap, Penske has a look here up the inside of the hairpin. There's a bit of room, but there's a little bit of banging on side pods, but DT holds on back on board with DT, and that's laggy. That's gone very wide out of turn 6. So yeah, back on board. Now we go with Mitchie. We go through plenty of POVs, don't you worry. Now these two are banging wheels, just like they were in SRL, so it's carried on into AOR. You can see Laggy come back on in about P6, so he dropped at least 1 or 2 spots. I'm not really too sure, but Mitchie under attack here from Conrad. Now he's going to have a look on the inside of Penske, who is on the soft tyres compared to Mitchie on the super softs, so just didn't quite have enough in the end. But yeah, now back again with R8K. It's probably a risky move up the inside of Kaiwa's. Came from a very long way back, probably a bit too risky. Now this is why we saw Zombie sliding so much. Just lost the rear end big time here, and you'll be able to see from as we go up into the hairpin here, make the move up the inside. Give him a little bit of a touch, but thought it left him enough for him anyway. But now cut on to lap 6, and we've lost Luxury Lizard, so there's our first casualty for China. I'm not sure exactly what the hell happened, whether he crashed himself or something else happened, but he was just off to the right there, as you could tell. But you can just see that Zombie's really not letting us go here. I really thought I was pulling away from Zombie, but I think he's going to have a look here. On board we go with Zombie. Might go for a little late dive bomb here up the inside here at the hairpin. Leave him the space, but just got to have the better traction out of that corner, and we hold him off for the time being. So the battle for the win is definitely on here, but yeah, coming around the final corner, yeah, just that better drive out of that corner was so good. Anyway, but lap 7, a little bit of a lock up there, just could not shake Zombie at all throughout this whole race, and there was a little bit of a moment there, and that might be why, because my teammate's now in the lane. So what was originally going to be lap 9 has turned into about at the end of lap 7. This might be why. It's gone very sideways there at turn 1. Not sure what happened, whether he just lost the rear end too early, or when he, I'm not sure whether he just went in a little bit too quick or not, but just lost the heat ground, so he decides to pit early on. So yeah, this has changed up his strategy big time here. He's going to go on the mediums, but it's going to be a damn long stint on these tyres, but these should come out with a little bit of fresh air. So back on board we go at R8K. Down the inside of Conrad. Has to lock up all the front brakes. Probably can afford to, but gets the move done and up into P9 for him. But back we go to us on lap 8. And just tell Zombie's just not letting us go whatsoever. So I'm just trying to break the slipstream on the back straight here and using as much rich mix as I can. I put a heap of fuel on board before the race started. Excuse me, but it sort of helped out on the back straights anyway. When you can see now I'm about to box this lap. Like I said, I originally was going to box on lap 8, but that changed when my teammate came in at lap 7. So now I'm basically going to take his spot in the pit lane. But again, hold off Zombie for the time being. I'm not sure exactly whether Zombie's going to continue on here or dive into the pits with us, but we dive straight into the lane. Try and go as quick as we can through that corner, but the Zombies continue on here. Just got to try and slow it up as much as we can. Let's just say I was frustrated when that popped up on my screen. I just could not believe it. I thought I just had enough, but in the end, it just wasn't enough, as you'll be able to see in this next screenshot. Just look at that. 1 kilometre over was just enough to cause me a stop-go penalty. But here's RAK into the pit lane. Probably a little tip. Don't come in the same lap as your teammate, because that can happen. Had a very slow pit stop. I'm not sure exactly what the timing was. You probably have a better view than me. But now at the end of lap 9, Mitchie's in for his one and only stop. Onto the mediums he goes. And away he goes. So it's back to us now. We're just basically on our own. Just have a big understeer moment coming out of 11. Just trying to work out when Zombie's going to come in for his pit stop. But you just see Owen's trying to get around a bit of a laggy Frizy there, who's, like I said, was one of the former ASR racers, so he's now joined the league. So good to have him back racing. Hopefully there'll be a few more old ASR racers who will come into the AOR series. But now, finally, Zombie's come in to the end of lap 10. So he's taken those super soft tyres a fair way. So might have a little bit of fresher rubber up his sleeve come to the end of the race. Onto the mediums he goes. But it'll be interesting to see where we pop out, where he pops out compared to us. But here we are onto the front straight. So Zombie's been in and out of the pit stop. I went very far to the wall just in case it was going to be very close, but in the end managed to probably gap him a little bit more, as I think that's the slide possibly had the fastest lap of the race. I think he's also on a different strategy as well, so that's probably why he was damn quick. Now DT comes in on the same lap as Zombie did. So he started on the soft tyres, so he probably could have taken those a little bit longer, but onto the medium tyres he goes. Should be able to make that to the end, but it's going to be an interesting battle between him and Owens. As you can see here, Owens is coming right out in front of him just, but there was actually a little bit more to that story, because that proximity arrow should be a lot more closer, and this is probably why. Back of all we go with DT. Just trying to hold on. Oh no, just caught up in the right rear of Owens. Manages to hold onto the car, but trying to get around the, I think that's the slide. He's tagged the slide. Copped a little bit of front wing damage, and oh dear, that's made DT's day a bit more worse for wear now. He's got to deal with the damaged front wing, but this was all, this was happening in front. We'll go back to the battle in a minute, but you can see there's a laggy Fry. It looked like he went off very wide there, but there he is. Just pulling wide out of the road of Mitchie, and now he can go chase after the Sly. Like I said, he's putting in good lap times. So now this was after DT had come back onto the track. So now RAK's made the move up the inside here at 6 and gets it done. So he now has the final points playing position. But now to lap 12, there's basically only a couple of guys left to pit. I think Penske's leading the way. Probably the first time in AOR history, probably ever, he's led the race. So probably won't be for long. I think he's on the soft tyres, and you see there's my former teammate Spagbowl, who's also did the complete opposite strategy, nearly what the Zombie did in Australia, but he's staying out for a very long time. You can tell he's trying to break the slipstream, and then nearly, I think it was the proximity arrow got very close there. The Zombie went very close to ramming up my rear end, but manages to hold on. Now finally Penske comes in at the end of lap 12. So he's taking those soft tyres a fair distance. Should be able to take the mediums to the end. And away he goes. Nice stop again from the Renault boys. And he'll slot back down there. Now there's only one guy left, which is Spagbowl. So, which we are gaining time, and actually have a little bit of a screen freeze there. And you'll be able to see in a minute. We'll go on board with Zombie here. And somehow apparently my car goes way off, but it was actually a bit of a screen freeze for them. Probably the first time in a while. It did not happen to me, which sort of gained me a bit more time. But you can just see there Spags just trying to break the slipstream as much as he can, but I'm just trying to follow him to see how much pace we've got here. But now to lap 14, you can see Spag, I think, really starting to struggle a little bit. more on those medium tyres. You can just tell he's covering so much, and this is not helping my cause, because I wanted to get by him and hopefully maybe have a bit more of a gap back to Zombie, but trying to have a better run coming out of this turn 12 section. But Spag does a pretty good job, but he's doing a lot of weeding, I must say, probably a bit too much. Hopefully he hasn't gone back to his older days of his driving style. I did try to improve his driving a little bit, but we're going to have to go right around the outside here at the hairpin, but manages to hold us off for the time being and probably slow us up a little bit. But we're going to see what happens here at the final corner, trying to get a good run. And actually Spag runs a little bit too wide on the curb, so and get DRS as well, so we can make that move pretty simple now onto the front straight. Now it'll be interesting to see if Zombie can get by him at least. Oh no, there's a bit of contact, I think. There may have been some front wing gone off a Zombie, which, I mean, it was sort of a 50-50. I mean, it was sort of a good thing that happened and it's sort of a bad thing that happened, because we were having a great battle. But probably the good thing is he gets a bit of damage, so, and there you can see there how far wide he runs. So that may have helped with adding my 5-second stop-go penalty anyway afterwards, but I will explain why I thought I was only getting it 5 seconds later. But he's on board with Zombie, so into turn 1 we go, and well, I mean, what more can you say, really? Whether Spag broke a little bit too early or not, I'm not sure, but now back aboard we go with Frizy. It's an interesting call, I must say, but this happened a couple of laps back. Now, as you can see there, it's going to be a weird moment here as Frizy comes around 11. As you can see there, there's a, well, that looked a bit weird. Looked like Mitchy's car was around there, but I don't think it was on Mitchy's screen. But here's R8K's view. They probably look a little bit weird, and he actually gets caught up a little bit. Cops a corner kind of warning, which seemed a little bit harsh, but and now R8's got a lot of pressure. I think that's Conrad straight behind him. So you see Conrad's going to go right around the outside here. You know, really, he turns to the inside now, from the inside to the outside. Now, look at the drive that Conrad's got. Great move. Up in the P9, I think, for Conrad. But he is on the soft tyre, so he probably will go a little bit later on. R8 puts it back up the inside and actually cops a little bit of front wing damage as well. So that's not helped his cause. You can just tell how much Zombie's losing. As you can see, my teammates making the move now up into P3 now, which will be effectively P2. It's just not working for Zombie at all. It's dropping spots. The Sly's gone by. I think he's just going to pull to the side here and let Laggy go by as well. So, oh dear, it's just a real shame for Zombie. Sometimes he just has the luck in league races, but some other times he just hasn't had any luck at all. So this is going to cost him big time here in championship wise as well, but going to put him way down the field now. That's in he comes for that front wing change, I dare say, and interesting to see what tyres he puts on. Super softs, okay. Well, he did go 11 laps on these other super softs, so there's no reason why he can't do it, but that's dropped him all the way back to about 14th, so he's way back now. But as you can see now, Spag Bowl is now pitted, so it's left us with the effective race lead. But I was a little bit concerned with the time penalty up my sleeve. You can probably tell the gap is, well, it's not big, put it that way. And I was even, in my thoughts, I was even considering, oh no, we've lost R8. So that's his day done. I was even considering whether to implement team orders, but I thought that'd probably be a bit harsh from a teammate. But yeah, this is probably what happened with R8K. So this is on board with DT early in the lap, on lap 16. So let's see what. It didn't quite get close there. He runs a little bit wide. He's going very wide, his R8K, and well, I think he's just pulled off to the side there, really. But this will explain it more about R8K. He does say that in his video that there's probably the front wing damage won't help him a lot, but I don't think he was feeling too well during this race, so he's just pulled off to the side and he'll take out the DHL sign there. That's not a sponsorship ploy, by the way, but he just pulls up to the side, and I think he's just going to basically retire from the race. So, I mean, fair's fair there. What more can you say, really? If it wasn't feeling well, this is what happens, really. But lap 19, gap was about, I don't think it was about 5 odd seconds or something, but it did start to come back down a little bit as we come through sector 2. That's actually Captain Farrow's come on a very awkward spot, but it didn't really affect me much. But I was more looking up that gap between myself and Owens, but as now back we go with DT's under a bit of pressure here from Exodona. This is for the battle 9th and, what are we, 8th and 9th. And Exodona may have a bit better drive, but DT's, we've seen plenty of drive come out of that car in the Red Bull, but look at that, perfect. But let's see what Exodona can do coming into turn 1 on begin lap 19. This is all battle for points as coming into turn 1 we go. See, DT runs very wide there, but he's got to try and hold it back up the inside here of Exodona. Not quite. There's still to be a fast moving Spag Bowl, not far behind actually, so he's on super soft tyres, so he won't be too far behind. There he is. In the background there, I don't think DT's done yet. Up the inside he goes at turn 6. And gets it done as well. So I was expecting maybe Exodona to come back at that, but no, he made it pretty simple. It's still going. DT runs very wide. Whether he got tagged or not, I'm not sure. Then Exodona has to go right around the outside and will get that spot for the time being. But now DT's got a whack a little bit from the Spag Bowl. Here's Zombie making his comeback through the field. This is effectively for the points, I think. So DT is not quite the greatest of runs out of that corner. And we'll have a look on board with Zombie. So you can just see he's all over the back of Spag Bowl, who is on the super soft tyres as well. So should have some good pace. You can see Spag just gives him a little touch on the left rear, which is enough to force him wide. You can just see Zombie just going to try around the outside, which is now across to the inside, which DT had a shocking run out of that corner, and I think Zombie's going to make light work of this move down the back straight, and makes it fairly simple there. Whether DT makes a move up inside here at the hairpin, probably a bit of a long shot there, but now you can see Spag Bowl all over the back of Exodona. And DT actually comes into the lane. As you can see there, he's actually trying to change his front wing. You've got to do it earlier before you get into the pit stops, DT, because that'll cost you big time. And it has cost him because he can't change the front wing, and now he's going to go onto the super softs. He's going to pretty much try and survive with a little wing damage there. But lap 21 we go. Again, worried about that gap there, and there's a bit more chaos. And then we lost Spag Bowl. So possibly a points playing position there has gone out the window, and I think the Sly also came into the pits as well. Seeing he was on the soft tyre, so he was trying to one stop, and that might explain why. He actually hit the wall there onto the pit entry, nearly like what usually was a gravel trap there back when in the old days, especially when it cost Lewis Hamilton a championship in I think 2007, but they had to change the front wing, so that's cost him big time there onto another set of soft tyres. Could quite have possibly got away with the super soft tyres, but this is going to be interesting to see what happens here with Spag Bowl. But this is what started it all. So he tried to get a good run at Exodona, couldn't quite get it done, but let's see what he does at turn 6 here. Zombie's having a look up the inside. These two are going to, and actually gives Exodona a little tag there, and Exodona just doesn't give him enough room, and that's an easy 2 spots there for Zombie. Now we're going to have a look at Exodona's view first off. In the Force India, doesn't quite have the greatest of runs coming out of 11. He's actually going to change tyres as well, but you see that proximity arrow getting closer and closer. There is a little movement there, and off goes Spagbowl into the wall. Interesting to see what it's like on Spagbowl's view. Coming through 11 now. Now let's see, he'd probably get like I said, he's probably got a better run compared to Exodona, who's, again, probably the super soft tyres is helping that cause, but he'd probably make this move pretty simple if he got it done, and, well, make of it what you will, I must say, but I will point it out with Exodona what happened in the race results anyway. Back on board we go with DT, and that's Exodona actually leaving the pits, so good timing, these two. They're back at it again. This is a battle for, I think, 11th and 12th, so they're well and truly out of the points now, but DT's having a shocker run out of that turn 12 section. Don't know what it is, just plenty of understeer, whether you just have too much drive coming out of that corner or just a lot more understeer. That's an easy move for Exodona here. But a DT has a look up the inside here. Got to think about it, but no, doesn't quite have enough in the end. So fairly simple move there for Exodona, and yeah, no, back we go to us on near the end of lap 21. You can see there again the gaps were starting to close in lap 24. I should also point out thanks to their major sponsors of AOR, which is Elgato Gaming and the Hype Energy drinks. If you're not hyped, get hyped with the Hype Energy drink. And you see on lap 26 now, I was trying my best to maybe extend that gap, but it did come down a little bit more, and then it sort of gained back a little bit up again. But yeah, as you can see, Captain Farrow, it was a bit of an awkward moment there with the rejoin with Exodona and Matt, and yeah, gets a little bit caught up on the curb. Captain Farrow's way down in the field. I think he's possibly dead last out of the runners anyway, so these two are battling again. Oh, what a shock, I must admit. These two are basically inseparable, no matter what, like I said in SRL, no matter what league race you're in, you can't separate them. Now the teammates now, and the Zombie's having a look around the outside. Penske holds on for the time being. Zombie does the crisscross. Let's see what happens here in the final corner. Penske doesn't give him much room, but holds him off for the time being. It'll be interesting to see what happens coming into turn one. Zombie does have DRS and fresher rubber, so he has got to go right around the outside. There's a bit of contact, and off he goes. Oh dear, well, it's just not your day. Thankfully, he didn't get any front wing damage, but you can see our DT's come in on the second last lap of the race. I mean, yeah, really nothing to lose, I must admit, but yeah, it's just a real shame, really. I think he's got a pretty much big enough gap anyway, back to Frizy, so, but that's cost him, I think, 11th place anyway. But back we go to our lap, begin the final lap of the race. Gap wasn't exactly growing, it was pretty much shrinking big time, and yeah, you can just tell from those timing sectors there. And to my knowledge, I only thought it was only going to be a 5-second time penalty. What I didn't realise was if you don't serve the stop-go penalty during the race, it gets added another 5 seconds, so 10 seconds overall. So basically, we come across the line to, well, it says effectively win the race, but it's not actually because it's Owens. It's Penske does a great finish as always. Nearly gets taken up with his teammate. But this is the battle on for the final points playing position. Matt on the super soft tires. A very late dive bomb. Nearly Daniel Ricciardo-esque, like. But manages to push. Kai was a little bit wide and might just hang on here. Yes, he does. So that's an easy position there for Matt. But like I said, the results will probably change. But yeah, you can see there Owens wins the race thanks to my time penalty, and finishes second, and Laggy on the podium for the first time in season 2. So great result for him. You probably tell they're all Ferrari power, so that's really a good sign, I must admit, throughout this whole season. Don't ask me why Owens is running the North Korean flag. He thinks he's some supreme leader or something, but yeah, there's the results on your screen. It did look a little different for other people, but because there was a little bit of a glitch. But I basically, well, you say gave the win, but it was fair anyway to soak up the penalty anyway. But you probably tell Matt got 11th anyway, but he did get 10th, which did turn into 9th because Exodona, after the post-race, copped the 20-second time penalty for the stewards for that incident with Spagbell. So there's the results on your screen. Championship-wise, it extends our lead to 7 points over my teammate, who's now moved up into 2nd. Zombies moved way back into 4th, and Langy's up to 6th. Constructors, Ferrari still leading by 30 points over Renault, and Red Bull are up there in 3rd. Haas are probably the big movers up there in 4th, and Force India and Williams still yet to score points. But yeah, that was an exciting race, I must say. But hopefully it can continue in the next race at, oh God, it's Azerbaijan, isn't it? So that's going to be a brilliant track. But that's going to do it today, guys and girls. So if you did enjoy it, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. Comment down below on what you thought about that race. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more AOR league racing footage and plenty more on F1 2017, plus plenty more video gaming content as well. And I will leave a link down below if you want to sign up for AOR Oceania. Like I said in the last video, please have a decent internet connection, or just be the best you can anyway. So yeah, and all my social media links will be down in the description as always. But for the moment, guys and girls, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.